Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this session on Sunday, the 20th of, where are we? September. We've got twisting poses today. There are, let's see, most of them, apart from Marichyasana 3, are okay. If you have a period or you have any problems with the lower back, you might want to just modify Marichyasana 3, but when we get to that point, I will tell you how to modify. Okay, so yes, I'm just checking the list to make sure there's no contraindications. Okay, so we'll start anyway, and we'll start as we usually do with the invocation to Patanjali. If this is your first time joining us, thank you very much for signing up for this practice. And this is a guided practice. I do give some teaching tips though as well as we go along, so it's not completely silent. But any questions that you might have, please do feel free to email me afterwards. Okay, let's start. So sitting straight. We'll bring our palms together in front of the chest. Close the eyes. Drawing the senses inwards, quietening the mind, ready for the practice today. So I'm going to chant the invocation to Patanjali, so feel free to join in or sit and listen. Yogena citasya padena vacham malam sharirasya javaidyakena yopa karotam pravaram muninam patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi abahu purushakaram shankachakra siddharinam Sahasra Shivasam Svitam Pranamami Patanjalim Hari Om. And we bow the head down towards the heart, paying our respects to Patanjali and the Iyengar family and all our teachers. And then release the hands and raise the head. Okay. So we're starting off with Supta Tadasana and Supta Padangusthasana, so you might need to get your belt ready. And so we can start lying down. And I've got to find my belt. Where have they gone? Oh, here they are. All right, so we're going to do the 3 suttas, Supta Padangusthasana. So one leg going up straight towards the ceiling. Then the second one will be taking the leg out to the side. And then the third one will bring the leg across. Okay, so we're going to do those 3 movements on the same side. All right, so I'll talk you through. I've got my timer ready. Let's hope that it works today. So it'll take 1 minute for each leg action. So instead of changing sides between each leg action, we'll take the leg up for a minute, then out for a minute, and then across for a minute. Okay. All right. So let's lie down in Supta Tadasana. I'm going to come a little bit to the edge, so I've got room to take my leg across when the time comes. So make sure you're aligned with your mat. So you're lying in a straight line. And then the shoulders pressing down. So Supta Tadasana, you're still extending the arms and the legs as if you're standing up straight, remember. And then press your elbows down for a moment and tuck the shoulders under so you really start to open the chest. Extend your legs away towards the heels and just be there with the palms facing the thighs. I'm just going to set the timer. So just be here in Supta Tadasana for a minute. Feel the backs of the thighs broadening. Press the tops of the thigh bones down. Feel a gripping action of the outer thighs, outer shins. Keep the inner edges of the feet, if possible, touching, but if the knee bones are bigger, you might find the feet are slightly apart. So in that case, have the big toe mounds just touching so the feet roll in slightly, and broaden the roots of the toes. So the soles of the feet are broad. And keep the arms extending down, keep the eyes open, don't go back to sleep. If anyone had a lion, you might need to stretch your arms over your head perhaps. But otherwise, just keep the arms by your sides and keep those outer shoulder bones rolling. If you find that your shoulders are stiffer, you can turn the palms towards the ceiling, get more broadening across the collarbones. And then when the timer goes, we'll take the right leg into Parvamuktasana and then up towards the ceiling. Let's make sure that timer's going off. Oh, no, it hasn't gone off. Okay, so we'll take the right leg now. Just bend the knee towards the chest, first of all, for the first few seconds. And then bring the belt or hold the foot and take the leg up. So if you can hold the big toe, you can take the leg up like that. Otherwise, hold the belt. I'm just holding the belt today. And then that inner thigh on the left leg has to roll down towards the floor. Right leg extending up, but work more on pressing the left leg down so that you're not popping that knee away from the floor and shortening the left leg. And see that the right leg foot is lifting towards the ceiling, so the inner edge and the outer edge of the foot parallel to each other. Then draw those shoulders down again and keep the top of the right thigh pressing away from you, that outer right hip moving away to lengthen the right and the left waist the same. And you can also think about how the abdomen sort of turns a little bit towards the left. Sometimes the foot rolls in. So try and keep the foot level and feel as if the abdomen is turning towards the right slightly, so the outer right ribs are heavier, so that they're not rolling towards the left. Of course, when we take the leg out to the side, the abdomen changes the direction, actually. Those of you that like your details, that will come next. Keep the eyes softly looking ahead towards the ceiling. Feel as if the outer upper arms drop down towards the floor. And keep broadening across the shoulders, collarbones. Opening the backs of the knees. Let's see what's going on with this timer. It's not playing ball today. Okay, so let's take the leg out to the side. I'm giving you extra time in your pose. Sorry about this. Okay, so take the leg out to the side now and try and keep that left leg really actively extending away. Top of that thigh down again so that you're not rolling towards the right side. And the abdomen now has to turn from right to left. I know you can't see my face. I've got my foot in front of my face, but I am looking at the camera. The abdomen is turning from right to left. And you can even extend your left arm out to the side. If you find it really difficult, can you grab something with your left hand perhaps, just to steady yourself? And then, but work on that left leg extending towards the heel as you bring the leg out to the side. And I've got to watch the timer and then come up. I think I'm going to use my own timing today. Bring the leg across to the left because my time is definitely not playing ball. Now I've got a little cheat here so I can rest my foot against the wall, which is quite nice. So that outer thigh on the right leg has to move down towards the hip, but you can let the right buttock lift up off the floor. Left leg again, extend it away. Try and keep the toes pointing towards the ceiling and then extend the arm out to the side. And the abdomen now, again, turning from left to right. Left to right. All right, and then inhale, come up, and then we'll change sides. So I'm going to turn around, face the other way, get rid of my defunct timer, because it's not playing ball today. Get rid of that. Okay. So taking the left leg now, first of all, into Parvamuktasana. So extend both legs out, extend both legs out. bring that left knee towards you. And as you do that, start the process of trying to extend the right leg to the heel. And then we'll take the left leg up with the belt, or you can catch the big toe. Extend that leg towards the ceiling. So I apologize if there's any delay between my voice and the actions you see on screen, but again, that's the signal between the device that I'm using and YouTube. Spread the toes of the left foot, push the heel bone up. Keep extending that right leg away. So there's traction in the right side of the lower back. And then this thigh and outer hip on the left leg has to draw down towards the floor. And then we'll take the leg out to the side. So hold the belt in the left hand. Now abdomen turning from left to right, so as not to bring all the weight onto the left leg. And that right foot, keep it extending away. Keep it extending away. If you've got something you can gently hold on to, don't pull hard with the arm, because you don't want to make all the work come through the arm. You want the legs to make most of the action. But if it helps, you can put your hand under the sofa or something like that, or get someone to hold this thigh down. Train your dog or something to sit on your leg. And then come up and change. So you take the leg across now. So you hold it with the right hand and bring that leg across. And that's not very far. Bring the leg across. So you've got that lovely thigh extension, outer thigh muscle extension. Trying to keep the right toes pointing towards the ceiling. My foot is turning a little bit, but that's okay. Outer left hip, move it away from the waist to make that waist long, and turn the abdomen this time from left to right, right to left. All right, and then come up and release. And then we'll turn to the side and come up for, I think it's Adho Mukha Svanasana, yeah, downward facing dog is next. So when you're doing your downward facing dog, if you're stiff in the shoulders, take your hands as wide as your mat, put your little fingers on the edge of the mat, or even a little bit wider. If you're very stiff in the shoulders, you can also turn the hands slightly outwards. All of those methods are there for you. And stiffen the legs, hamstrings, or you want a bit more broadness in the back thighs, put your toes on the outer edges of the mat. So you've got your hands and your feet wide. And then think about taking the energy of the pose from the arms up through the trunk into the hips and the tops of the thighs, pressing back to draw the chest towards the legs. So you've got to work those legs harder so as not to bring all the weight forwards into the arms. If you can't maintain, then you come down and then go up again. Don't just give up. Keep drawing. And don't worry if the heels don't come down yet. You can walk the feet in, but then that kind of shortens the pose, shortens the space for the spine. So it's better to have the feet back and the heels up, but keep on working those legs. Because some of us are not meant to put our heels down just yet, not in this lifetime maybe, or not to compromise the length of the back is what I'm saying. Okay, and then we'll walk forwards to come out, briefly touch Uttanasana, and then come up and stand up. So I think we've got Prasarita Padottanasana next, the standing pose. So if you need some height for your head for this, take height for the head. So the head comes down to the floor. I'm going to turn sideways for this, I think. I'm just going to rearrange my mat slightly. And I'm taking a blanket for my head. And as usual, this is just my little habit. I always have my feet on the back edge of the mat. You can't see my right foot now, but the heel is the back edge of the mat. And I'm going to take the blanket and put it so it's in between the legs. I'll creep that way a little bit. And then start off with your hands under your shoulders. So again, if you need support, put blocks under each hand. Don't have your hands on one block. Remember, keep the broadness there across the chest. And pause there for a moment so that you kind of get your balance in the feet. So you're not pushing the hips back towards the heels or forwards towards the hands. You're centered on the center of the arch of the foot. And then as you bend the elbows and draw the hands back and take the head down, crown of the head should come to the floor or to the lift. It's a bit too much for me today. Keep lifting the front thigh muscle, but more importantly, press the front of the thigh towards the back of the thigh and spread the back thighs, spread the back groins, extend the outer thighs, lift the inner knees, and press the outer edges of your feet down firmly without pushing the ankle bones out. So you have to watch that you don't overdo one action and, overstretch your joints. So keep a sort of grip of the outer hips, outer knees, outer ankle bones, as if you're trying to bring those legs together. But watch that you don't grip your jaw as you do that. Keep the jaw soft. The eyes softly open, looking straight back towards the space behind you. Lift your shoulders away from your ears. Slightly elevate the abdomen away from the floor. There's a slight kind of suction of the abdomen without a hard grip. And then lifting the head, bring the hands forwards under the shoulders once again. You can walk the feet in slightly and then come up and stand up and walk the feet back together and stand in Tadasana. Okay, so we're going to take shishasana and parshva. So those of you that are experienced at your head balance, we're going to do the variation parshva, the twisting part. If you're not doing head balance, you can do Urdhva Prasarita Padasana, which is the pose where you take the legs up. This one, okay? You can start there. All right, and then you can extend your arms out to the sides and do Chattara Parivartasana. So you bend the knees and you bring the knees off to the side, like so. But you don't bring them to the floor, just bring them in line with the elbow. And then you come up and you go to the other side. Okay, so while we're doing our shishasana, that's the option. So legs up, all right, and then bend and stay there for a minute, legs bend and go to the side. And you can use a belt on the legs as well. If you've got your period, you don't do that. Okay, if you're not going upside down because you've got your period, you don't do that. You can repeat downward facing dog a few times. Okay, so hopefully that served everybody. So I'm going to get my blanket ready for shishasana because I use a folded blanket for my head. Well, it's actually for my shoulders. And then I'm going to go up. And obviously I'm not going to use my timer, so I'm going to put a clock in front of me so that I can see the time. Otherwise we might be up there a bit longer than you'd like. All right. So if you're not sure what parshva is, you can watch me. So make sure that you can see me as you go up into your head balance. So have your head facing the screen. And if you're not doing, then just do normal shishasana. If you haven't done this before and you're a beginner at head balance, please don't do this variation. All right. Don't take risks. Wait until you're in a live class where a teacher can see you. Okay. And you might see me come down in a funny way. And that's because I'm still taking care of that lower back, the sacroiliac, and I have to come down in a slightly uncontrolled way to stop it sort of catching as I come down. But happy to say it's definitely much, much better than it was. All right, so you start off in your normal shishasana, lifting up. So we'll take a minute or so here. And those of you lying with your legs up, do a minute there. And then after a minute, you can, when we start to do our variations, then you can do your variations, bending your knees and stretching the arms out to the sides, taking the knees out to the right, holding for a few seconds, then coming up and then going to the left. Okay, so we're going to do the variation and then we'll hold for another 2 minutes. So we're turning to the right. So you keep the legs extended up, keep the feet together and rotate the legs, spinning the left leg around the right leg towards the right. Please don't do this if you are new to this. Don't play around with your neck. And then we're coming back to the center. Turning to the left. So the right leg has to spin around the left. You have to keep both shoulders lifting, both forearms pressing down, and then back to the center. If you want to have another go, have another go. Keep the middle buttocks forwards. Try not to let the legs swing back. Center and to the left. And then 1 more minute in shishasana. It's a short shishasana. Those of you in the other poses, try not to flop in a heap. If you've had enough, then bring your knees to your chest. Squeeze your knees to your chest. Those of you in dog pose, be in Adho Mukha Virasana, so you're kneeling on the floor, stretching the arms forwards, head down. Then when you want to come down any way that you normally do. I'm coming down with bent legs, but you might see me drop as I come down. I just have to take care of that lower back. And then everybody, Adho Mukha Virasana. So head down on a support, stretch the arms forwards just to release the neck. Sometimes you can put your fists one on top of the other and put the chin on the fist like that. And then come up and come out. Okay. So let's take dandasana now. We're coming into the twisting part of the session. So because a lot of this is now seated, you can have your props around you. So I'm going to take a couple of blankets. I'll have a brick behind me. And I've got my belt as well. But I'm going to start in dandasana. So, and in fact, I'll turn sideways. I have got another camera that gives me a different angle, but save me from getting up and changing that. I'll just sit here so you can see. So legs extending forwards, heel bones extending away. Outer thighs rolling in, just like Tadasana. And then place your hands beside you and sit tall. Spread your toes. Get that broadness across the base of the toes again. And when you look forwards, you should see that the legs are going straight forwards from the hips. It sounds like an obvious thing to say, but very often we unconsciously move the feet over, especially if you're kind of looking at the screen. You tend to shift to accommodate the device. So make sure you're sitting centrally in your own space. So I'm not going to mirror image because I've got my side to you, but turn to the right for pasha dandasana. Pasha dandasana. So the left hand, you can bring it close, the right hand, you can bring it close in towards the body, the back hand, that is this one, and the left hand, push it or pull against that thigh, but feel that the right thigh and the left thigh are rolling towards each other. Don't allow the right thigh, though, to lift. You're not pulling it up, you're pulling it across. Keep the outer right thigh moving down. And sternum bone up, chest up. And then back to the front. Take the other side, so you'll see the back of me now. So the right hand is pushing onto that left thigh rolls down, and the left hand comes close to the back body to help you ascend the trunk. Watch the feet don't go off on their own little journey. Keep the broadness there, keep the inner edges of the toe, big toes touching, or the whole foot if you can. Look over your left shoulder. Try not to let your body sag onto your hips. Lift the spine up. And then come back to the front and sit tall. Now we've got Supta Swastikasana. Not Supta Swastikasana, Pasha. So this is Swastikasana pose. Legs crossed. Bring the feet in, but have the feet underneath the thighs, slightly out of the thighs. So you're crossing the shin bones at the center. So let me face you now so you can see that a bit better. So it doesn't matter which leg you've got in front because we'll change the cross of the legs anyway. But if you look, the shin bones are crossed in the center. So try not to have your ankles crossed. If you need to sit higher so that your knees can, thighs can relax down. Then you might need a block behind you to put your hand on. Okay. So let's take the arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. And then we'll take the right hand behind, left hand to grab the right knee. And as you turn, try not to pull the knee up, but feel as if you're pushing the knee slightly back, like you're drawing that thigh bone into the hip socket, but press the knee into the hand. So there's a sort of two-way resistance there. Top of the navel back, sternum bone lifting, broaden across the tops of the shoulders. Elevate the chin slightly and turn. Use the breath. So when you inhale, ascend the spine from the middle to the upper chest. And as you exhale, turn. And then come back to the front. Once again, raise the arms up. Inhale, exhale, turn to the left. Use the back arm like a rod to lift your body up. Draw that thigh bone into the hip, but resist the knee into the hand. And again, inhale, lift. Exhale, turn. And then back to the center. Now we're going to change the cross of the legs. So stretch out the legs and then bring the other one in front. Inhale, raise the arms up. Now this time when you turn, take the back of the left hand over the right knee. So you're stretching all through the inner arm towards the wrist, like so. And turn the belly more now. So feel as if you're sort of squeezing the abdomen around and turning the abdomen deep inside. Even feel or imagine that you're turning your left kidney towards the right knee. So you're really bringing that lower back band into action now. Then come back to the center, raise the arms up. Inhale, exhale, turn to the left. The back of the right hand is against the outer left thigh, knee, as much as you can. So you're rolling that upper arm from inside out. And take the right kidney forwards towards the left leg. And then back to the center and stretch out the legs. So now we've got Marichyasana 1, Bharadvajasana 1. And I demonstrated this a lot this week because some people got a bit confused with the feet. So I am going to show you from the back because some of you may forget. So with the feet in this pose, you take the feet off towards the left first. The right foot points towards the right, is outside of the buttocks. The left foot points straight back into Virasana. And then you support the right buttock with your blankets or your block, like so. And then you turn towards your right, okay? What we can also do is use the back arm, the right arm, to catch the left hand and bring the hand across. You can also do that full pose as well, if that's accessible to you. So hopefully you can see that from the back. So I'm going to attempt to mirror image now. Let's see. So if you start off sitting just in Vajrasana. Vajrasana is where you sit on your heels. And then we're just going to shift the buttocks. This is just an easy way to get in. The classical way is from dandasana and swinging the legs to the side. So you're going to bring your feet off towards the left. So just swing the feet outwards and sit on your right buttock. And then your left foot, your right foot is pointing out sideways, this one here, okay? Then your left foot goes across the top, remember? So the ankle of the left foot sitting in the arch of the right foot. And then you need to leave yourself up so that you can put your support, whether it's a foam block or 2 foam blocks or a bolster even, for those of you with the knee issues, underneath that right buttock or underneath both buttocks if you have to sit quite high so it's not so wobbly. I've just got cramp now in my right foot. Happens to us all. Okay. And then we're going to turn. So I'm going to use the hand hold. Sorry, I've just got to stretch that foot out because it's not, the cramp's not going away. Not sure why that is. So I'm going to take my right arm out to the side, swing it around the back of my waist, and catch my left upper arm. All right. If you want to try this and you can't catch your upper arm, you can put the belt around your left upper arm and then catch the tails around the back with your right hand, like that. Then you bring your arm across. Okay, so turn, bring that arm across. Now, some of you will have nice long arms and you'll be able to do that quite easily. Others, you may be thinking, how on earth am I going to get my hand across? So you might be here. That's okay. You're still holding at the back and it will give you more of a turn of the upper back. So let's take the full pose. We're only going to do this once, this pose today. And if you can get the hand across fairly well, then you can try turning the palm the other way like that. Sit the left thigh down, as if someone's standing on your thigh. And then exhale and turn towards your right. Bharadvajasana 1. And everybody can do this. If you've got your period, you can do this. Because it's an open twist for the abdomen. It's not constricting the abdomen. In fact, it's more of a upper back shoulder action. And then come back to the center and stretch out the legs. Start from the floor again if you can. And then come to Vajrasana again. I'll do it the same both sides. So this time you sit on the right buttock and let your feet come to the left. Left, that's right, isn't it? Yeah. Is that right? No, I've gone the wrong way because I'm mirroring you, sorry. So you let your feet come to the right, you sit on the left buttock, that's it. And then bring that support underneath the left buttock only. Try to have the the feet really quite away from the hip, so that the left heel isn't sitting underneath the right buttock. And then again, See if you can take hold of the right upper arm with the left hand, either with the belt or the hand behind you, and swing the right arm across the left leg and turn towards your left. So you're trying to turn with your body more than you turn with your eyes. So it's a good idea to get the turn first and then turn the head last. Keep the right thigh pressing down. Use the breath as well. So you take the inhalation to lift up. Exhale, turn. And then come back to face the front and stretch out the legs. Now, Brahmajasana 2 is there, but we're going to first of all do Marichyasana 1. So we'll come back to Brahmajasana in a minute. Marichyasana 1, and this again is safe for everybody to do. I'm going to sit sideways on again because this is a straight leg action. And you're going to turn towards your right first, which means you've got to bend your left leg. Maybe have a brick behind you, maybe have a bit of extra height if you're tending to sink in the lower back. So we're bending that left leg. Keep the right leg extended. Take the right arm behind, and then the left elbow can come inside the left knee. We'll just do the simple version here. So that left heel pressing down into the floor to help the left lower back to lift. Keep the the inner right thigh rolling down towards the floor, so inner right heel down. Press firmly into that back hand and turn. And then look over the right shoulder. Press the left knee onto the left elbow. Don't let that leg sort of drop out sideways. Okay, and then come back to the center, to the front, and change legs. So bringing that right heel in, hold onto the knee and lift yourself up. So you're trying to go forwards from the sacrum rather than rocking back there. And then take the left hand behind you and the right elbow on the inside of the right knee. And turn as much as you can, rotating the lower back, middle, upper, rotating the abdomen, keeping that left heel down and looking over your left shoulder. And then come back to the front and stretch the legs forwards. Okay, now with Bharadvajasana 2, it's one leg is in Padmasana. So if you want to repeat the last Bharadvajasana we did, where we have the feet to the side and you're turning, then do that. Or you can repeat the last pose we did, which was Marichyasana 1. And those of you that can, we're going to do now Bharadvajasana 2. So I'm going to sit on a little bit of lift. One leg is in Virasana. Then the other leg is supposed to be in Padmasana. Okay, so I'm just going to warm up this leg because this knee of mine, it likes to grumble, and sometimes it's the weather, and sometimes it's just what I've been doing the day before. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of time. So some of you know this pose. It's quite happy today. It's good, isn't it? And you turn. You try and hold the foot with the hand. There it is. And then you bring the other hand across. So you turn towards your right like that. Now, obviously, if you can't hold the foot, you use a belt around your foot. Okay, so this is Bharadvajasana 2. It's a lovely pose. It's fine for period, actually. Because, again, the abdomen is open here. And it's really nice in the belly. And because you've got the foot in Padmasana on that top thigh, it keeps the thigh down. It's like having someone standing on your leg. So you feel this sort of lift. Please don't hurt your knees though. So if it's not comfortable, if there's pain in the knee, avoid it and go back to one of the previous twists. and then back to the center. Carefully release that leg. Sometimes it's when we come out of Padmasana that we tweak the leg because we get a bit too quick and you turn the knee in the wrong direction because it's only a hinged joint, so it can't rotate. So you have to rotate the thigh and the hip. That's the mistake that's often made with those bent leg poses. It's expecting a little bit too much of our knees. Okay, so the second side, I might need a belt to catch the foot on this side. I'm sure I've got one arm shorter than the other. Oh, I can touch, but actually, I can touch the foot, but I'll be better off with a tiny, tiny bit of belt. Yes. Okay, and then you're turning towards your left. So change sides, whichever pose you're doing. And that down leg, it tends to sort of creep off. So to press that foot, that's a Virasana leg there. And in fact, if you're in Brahmajasana 1, you've got one leg in Virasana, if you think about it. And then release. Stretch out the legs carefully so you can release the knees. Now, the next twist is Marichyasana 3. If you've got your period, you shouldn't do this, or any kind of situation going on in the pelvis. You shouldn't really do Marichyasana 3. But you can do the first part. Okay, the first part is absolutely fine, which I'm going to show you because I've been working on this week with my groups on how to access this pose because it can be a little bit challenging to get the twist. So the first part of this everybody can do because the abdomen is free. But when we come to do the final part, going into the pose upright, if you've got your period or any kind of situation there, please don't do. Or if you do, be prepared to not be very comfortable. No, don't do. So what you do is you bend the right leg because you're going to turn to the right. So it's different from Marichyasana 1, where you turned away from the bent leg. Now we're turning towards the bent leg. And those of you that were with me this week, we put the brick really far back and we leant back to bend the elbow. So everybody can do that because it's a nice space for the abdomen. The abdomen is completely free. If you've got lower back issues and you can't twist that deeply for Marichyasana 3, you can stay here. Okay, so we're turning and trying to keep the chest, abdomen turning towards the right and lean back to create more space, to get more rotation. Okay, and then when we come up, you've got to try and keep the body facing forwards. And then at that point, those with the period, you can just stay where you are. Don't come up into this position. Okay, so hopefully you're all with me one way or the other. And those of you that want to catch, please do. I'm just happy to get my elbow across at the moment. And to keep that abdomen and chest turning towards the right. So the left arm comes, or the right arm, sorry, comes very close in now to create that stability and that lift for the back body. Oh, lovely, lovely twist. And then come back to the front. So I'm going to put that brick right back. We change legs. And then I'm going to lean back all the way, so you see the back of me now. In case you forget who I am, it's on the back of my t-shirt. Bending that elbow to turn and turn and turn. So we're trying to bring all of this around, abdomen around, chest around. And then those of you joining, slide the brick closer and closer. Get as much of the upper arm over that knee as you can. Keep that turn. Don't lose it. Rotate. Keep the right leg fully extended and the left heel pressing firmly down. And then release and come back. If you find yourself getting hot, that's twists. Twists will heat the body. So they're great to do on a cold day. Not so great on a hot day, of course, but they're very releasing. Now, Upavishta Konasana and Parivrtta Upavishta Konasana. This was a request from someone earlier in the week to have this pose included, so I'm including it today as well. So we'll start with Upavishta Konasana, wide leg pose, and then there's a twist. So if you're not sure of this, let me show you first. I think I'll demo this first, and you can just have a little pause, or you can do it with me and then repeat afterwards. So we're doing Upavishta Konasana first, this pose here. When we come to do Parivrtta, so it's not quite the same as pasha. This is pasha where you turn to the side. Parivrtta is where you turn the body. You rotate the whole body rather than just turning. So you come to this side and put the elbow down on the floor. All right, and then you stretch the arm out towards the foot. You can't see my foot. I'll go the other way. There you go. You catch the foot like that, and then you turn, and you bring this arm over, and you catch the other side of the foot. Okay, so that's a very brief demo. But if you can't manage to get there, you put brick here. You put a belt around the foot, so that's all ready. You take the left elbow onto that brick, and then you stretch the hand out and catch the belt with one hand, like so, pushing the elbow into the brick. You're trying to turn. Then this arm can come over and catch the belt, and then you bend your elbows away from each other like that. So you've got one elbow going up towards the ceiling, the other elbow pressing into the brick, and you're trying to turn the abdomen, chest, diaphragm, shoulders. Okay, so that's Parivrtta action. So I'm going to go to my left first, so that I'm mirroring you. But follow what I'm doing, just follow with me. Turn towards your left first, just turn towards your left. Have your brick in front of your inner knee, have your belt ready if you're using it, but turn towards the left first, so that we are doing pasha to start off with. Okay, and then we're going to kind of lean towards the right. So bring that right elbow and lift it up so that we're stretching this armpit area here, and lean that elbow down onto the brick or onto the inner knee. Use your left hand, push the thigh away to get your upper arm further along and further down. Then stretch out your right arm, see if you can catch the foot. So can you see my hand is turned, so the little finger's on top and the thumb is below. The thumb is also holding the sole of the foot. And then rolling that left shoulder back, lean the chest back slightly, take the left arm up and over. If you're catching the belt, catch the other side of the belt, otherwise catch the foot. And then you're trying to turn as best you can, lifting the top elbow, pressing the bottom elbow towards the floor. The left buttock might lift slightly. Okay. And then the challenge is to try and get the front body as long as the back body. Then when you come out, put your right hand down on the floor and roll forwards and come up and sit up. Okay, so we'll do the other side the same way. Turn towards the right. So then we're kind of leaning back onto the left. Turn towards the right, lean to the left. So extend that arm, the elbow, towards the left shin, let's say, not even the left knee. Press it back against the inner leg or onto your brick. Then stretch the left arm out, and grab the foot. Can't see it, or grab the belt. And then start to rotate towards the ceiling, the chest and the abdomen, rolling that right shoulder back. Then swing that arm over. Ooh, got the wall there, so that's quite handy. Catch the other side of the foot, or you can put the hand on the wall there, look, and turn that way. That's quite a nice way to do to get more rotation. And then look up underneath your arm. Extend into both heels. Lengthen the left side of the waist. Further along that leg. And then to come out, roll forwards and come up Put your hands on the inside of your knees. Gently bring the legs in to buttock konasana. Just for a moment. That will release the hamstrings. And then we've got pasha forward bend to finish from there. So I'm going to take my support over this side. Have your feet slightly apart. So it's not a working pasha it's a resting one. Have support for the head, either a chair or a brick or a bolster, or if you're able to take your head to the floor, be my guest. And then hold either the feet or the belt or the sides of your mat. Then release the forehead down. Keep the elbows slightly elevated. And also feel the elbows are travelling forward slightly, as if the sides of your waist are being pulled forwards by a friendly force. Keep the abdomen soft, not hard gripping. Close the eyes. Soften across the tops of the shoulders. Broadness in the back. Softness in the abdomen. And then gently raising the head, come up and sit up. So the final two poses are Viparita Karani. If you have your period, you shouldn't raise your pelvis above floor level with the legs up. So if you're on your period, you can go straight to shavasana, or you can do setu bandha, or any of the supine poses like supta baddha konasana. Otherwise, we're going to take Viparita Karani. Now I'm going to take a little bit extra lift today. So it's lying with the legs up the wall pose. So I'm taking 4 blocks with a bolster on top. Like so. A little bit away from the wall, so that I've got space for the buttocks to drop down behind. Move those out of the way. And I quite like to have a blanket on top of that as well. And then when I come down, I will probably turn around a bit to do shavasana. But if you're coming out of this and just resting down, have a blanket ready for your head. Okay. And now I'm going to show you a quick way to get into this pose. Excuse my bottom. But remember, we did this kind of in class the other day. So you slide down from a sort of forward roll, and then your buttocks end up on the bolster and the legs in the air. Okay, so if you know that method, have a go. If not, get up any way you can. And we're going to stay here for a few minutes. I've got my... No, I can't see the clock from there, so we'll just have to guess the timing. I'm quite good, as you know, at guessing the timing anyway. I often come out just as the timer goes off. So settle yourself into the pose. If you're not able to do this, you can have your legs resting on a chair. So you're doing the bent leg version. And Viparita Karani is, of course, very good for the heart and for the emotions and the nervous system. But make sure that you're not flat on your shoulder blades. Cultivate that tucking action so that you're lifting your chest. So the higher the hips, the better it is. The lower the hips, then the less effective it is. And I'm not saying it's not restful, but it's just a bit less effective than having the hips very high. Let your abdomen completely relax. Close the eyes, soften the breath, focus on inhalation, exhalation to quieten the mind. So we're going to start thinking about coming out. If you want to stay, just stay. It's your practice. If you're coming down with me, you bend the knees and slide back just enough so the buttocks come to the floor. Don't go further back than that, because then you can rest your hamstrings and your thighs on your lift. With the thighs pressing into the bolster, it softens the hamstring, softens the legs, and you can rest like that for shavasana, or you can lie flat, have the bolster under the backs of the knees perhaps. And just for those last few moments, let go completely. Relax the arms. The legs aren't relaxed in this position on the bolster, then change so that you can let go. Now is the time for complete surrender, not for holding your pose. And even in shavasana, when your arms and legs are released away from the body, sometimes people still hold the floor. They hold their pose on the floor. Let the fingers be soft, let the toes be soft, and let the brain be quiet. Direct the mind energy, the brain energy towards the breath, and ultimately towards the heart. And then bringing the hands on the belly, staying where you are. If you want a longer shavasana, the rest of us are rolling to the side to come up. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. See you next time. Bye for now.